The sun was just beginning to set over the city, painting the tall buildings with shades of gold and orange. In the heart of downtown, the grand lobby of the Metropolitan Grand Hotel was alive with activity. Guests in elegant clothes moved quickly toward the reception desk. Bellboys rushed past with luggage, and the faint smell of fresh flowers filled the air. The sound of clinking glasses and soft music added a calm yet busy feeling to the enormous space. Maya, a janitor at the hotel, moved quietly with her mop and bucket. She wore a neat uniform and kept her hair tied back, showing her careful attention to detail. Her movements were smooth and precise as she cleaned every corner of the marble floor. Guests often overlooked her presence, but Maya noticed everything. She noticed the way a guest held their phone, how a waiter placed a plate, and even small details like a smudge on a glass table. No one knew, however, that Maya was not only a janitor. She was a highly trained CIA agent working undercover. Her calm smile and gentle demeanor hid her sharp mind and keen observation skills. Today, she was on a quiet mission, observing the people who came into the hotel. And she had her eyes set on one particular guest, Victor Reynolds. A wealthy businessman entered the lobby at the same time. He walked with confidence, his expensive suit perfectly pressed and his polished shoes clicking against the marble floor. Victor was known in the business world as a man who always got what he wanted. He had made millions through his investments, real estate deals, and international business ventures. Victor had no patience for mistakes or delays, and he enjoyed showing others that he was in control. As Victor approached the reception desk, he noticed something on the floor. A small smudge near the elevator caught his attention. He frowned and looked around, scanning for someone responsible. "Who left this mess here?" he called out sharply, his voice echoing through the lobby. People turned to look at him. Victor's tone was harsh and commanding, the kind that made most people step back. Maya, who was nearby mopping, looked up calmly. "I'll take care of it, sir," she said politely. Her voice was soft, but there was a quiet confidence in the way she spoke. She moved toward the spot Victor had noticed, ready to clean it immediately. Victor's face twisted in irritation. "Take care of it? You should have cleaned this before I arrived. I expect better service than this." He raised his hand quickly and slapped her lightly on the shoulder, more out of anger and frustration than to cause harm. The lobby went silent for a moment. Guests froze, unsure of how to react. Many people had seen employees being rude or careless before, but no one had seen a millionaire physically slap a worker. It was shocking and completely unexpected. Maya did not flinch, and her calm expression never changed. Her eyes, however, narrowed just slightly. She had been trained for situations like this. Remaining composed under pressure was part of her job. She did not want to reveal her true identity in public, and she knew that reacting angrily could draw unnecessary attention. Victor, satisfied with what he believed was a demonstration of authority, turned and walked toward the elevators. His briefcase swung confidently at his side, and his expensive watch glinted under the lobby lights. He didn't notice Maya watching him carefully. He didn't notice Maya watching him carefully. She took note of small details, the way he carried his briefcase, the quick movements of his hands, the way he glanced around as if he were expecting someone. Every detail mattered. As Victor disappeared into the elevator, Maya finished cleaning the smudge. She paused for a moment, looking at the polished floor, and considered the strange feeling that had entered her mind. Something about Victor was unusual. He seemed ordinary on the surface, just another wealthy businessman, but Maya's instincts told her that there was more to him than met the eye. She decided to observe him more closely over the coming days. The following morning, Maya returned to her regular duties in the hotel lobby. Guests arrived early for meetings, and the staff moved briskly to prepare for the day. Maya mopped, dusted, and polished. But she also kept her eyes on Victor, who had returned to the hotel. He entered the lobby with the same confident stride, unaware that someone was paying close attention to his every move. Victor was focused on his schedule, moving quickly from the reception desk to the elevators and then to the private lounge. He checked his watch repeatedly and spoke briefly to the hotel manager, giving instructions about his meetings and accommodations. Victor's behavior was precise, almost mechanical. He appeared to be in full control, but Maya noticed subtle signs of tension. He glanced over his shoulders several times and kept his briefcase tightly against his body. These small details suggested he might be carrying something important, something he didn't want anyone to notice. Maya knew that observing him without raising suspicion was crucial. She continued her cleaning, pushing the mop in a steady rhythm, while her mind recorded every action, every glance, and every interaction Victor had. Her training as a CIA agent allowed her to analyze behavior without anyone suspecting her true abilities. To a casual observer, she was just a hard-working janitor performing her routine tasks. As the day went on, Victor interacted with other hotel staff, checking on the arrangements for his meetings and giving instructions about the conference rooms. Maya noticed the way he spoke, authoritative but polite, demanding but precise. He seemed confident in public, yet small details revealed that he was cautious. He avoided certain areas, kept conversations brief, and used subtle signals to communicate with people he trusted. These behaviors were all pieces of a puzzle that Maya intended to solve. Later in the afternoon, Victor returned to the lobby after a short meeting. He stopped near the hotel fountain, adjusting his tie and checking his phone. Maya watched as he fidgeted slightly, revealing a hint of nervousness. She noted that he frequently looked around, scanning the lobby as if expecting someone or something. Her curiosity grew. She had been observing many people in her line of work, but there was something unique about Victor. Maya continued to clean while keeping Victor in sight. She moved carefully, making sure her presence seemed natural. She adjusted furniture, wiped tables, and polished surfaces, all while mentally recording Victor's patterns. She observed the way he greeted staff, the speed of his movements, and the timing of his calls. Every small detail could be important. As the evening approached, Victor left the lobby, heading toward the hotel exit. Maya watched him go, noting the direction he took and the people he interacted with along the way. She understood that her mission would require patience and careful planning. Following him openly would be dangerous, and she needed to maintain her cover while gathering information. When the lobby finally quieted down, Maya finished her cleaning for the day. She returned her equipment to the storage room and paused for a moment, reflecting on the events. Victor Reynolds was not an ordinary guest, and the light slap he had given her had set a chain of events into motion. She knew that the coming days would require vigilance, careful observation, and a sharp mind. Maya left the lobby and walked to her small apartment above the hotel garage. She unlocked the door and stepped inside, taking a deep breath. To anyone else, she was just a janitor with a long day of work behind her. To herself, she was an agent preparing for the next step of a carefully planned mission. She reviewed her mental notes and prepared for the tasks ahead. Victor, meanwhile, enjoyed the luxury of his suite, unaware that a janitor in the hotel lobby had noticed every detail of his behavior. He relaxed, confident that his secrets were safe, not knowing that Maya's sharp eyes and trained mind had already begun unraveling the story behind his movements. By the time night fell, the city lights reflected in the windows of the hotel, and the lobby was silent except for the occasional cleaning staff finishing their duties. Maya sat quietly, planning her next day. She knew that following Victor would be challenging, but she also understood that patience and observation were her greatest strengths. Maya's calm and careful approach, combined with her hidden skills, made her ready for whatever came next. The events of the hotel lobby, the slap, the smudge on the floor, the confident millionaire were only the beginning of a story that was about to unfold. Her eyes reflected determination as she thought about the next steps. Victor Reynolds might have believed he was in control, but Maya was already watching, analyzing, and preparing. The game had begun, and Maya was ready to play her part with precision and skill. The sun finally disappeared behind the city skyline, and the lights of the hotel lobby shone brightly, creating a sense of calm after the day's activity. Yet beneath the calm, a hidden story was starting to take shape, one that would bring secrets, surprises, and challenges. And at the center of it all was Maya, the janitor who was much more than she appeared to be. The next morning, the Metropolitan Grand Hotel was alive with activity once again. Guests hurried through the lobby. Bellboys carried luggage with speed and precision, and the scent of fresh coffee and flowers filled the air. Maya moved among the crowd, her mop and bucket in hand, maintaining her usual calm and composed presence. No one suspected that beneath her ordinary appearance lay a CIA agent trained to notice everything and analyze every detail. Victor Reynolds entered the lobby with his usual confident stride, his expensive suit crisp and his shoes polished to a shine. He had returned from a late-night meeting in the city, looking more focused and determined than ever. Victor carried his briefcase tightly in one hand and checked his phone constantly. Seemingly unaware of the world around him, Maya watched him from a distance while she cleaned the floors near the reception desk. She observed how he interacted with the staff, the way he spoke to the receptionist, and the subtle gestures he used when he thought no one was looking. Every movement, every glance, and every expression mattered to her. She was not simply a janitor cleaning the hotel. She was a professional observer, gathering important information. Victor paused near the elevators, tapping his briefcase as he waited. Maya noticed the small card tucked inside his pocket, slightly sticking out. It seemed insignificant to anyone else. To Maya, trained to notice details, it was potentially important. She wondered if it contained a contact, a code, or some other piece of critical information. As Victor entered the elevator, Maya carefully followed, pretending to be occupied with cleaning nearby. She noticed how he pressed the buttons with precision, then checked his phone again. His eyes scanned the lobby briefly, a small hint of caution visible in his otherwise confident demeanor. To the untrained eye, Victor was just a rich man moving through a hotel. To Maya, he was someone carrying secrets, someone she needed to watch closely. After finishing her morning rounds, Maya returned to the storage room to organize her supplies. While tidying her cleaning materials, she mentally reviewed her observations. Victor's behavior over the past few days had intrigued her. He appeared confident and in control, yet there were small signs of tension and secrecy. His constant glances over his shoulder, his careful handling of the briefcase, and the coded conversations he had on his phone all suggested that he was involved in something more than ordinary business. Maya knew she had to remain patient. She could not reveal her identity or draw attention to herself. Following him openly could compromise her mission. She decided to blend in while keeping a close eye on him, recording details in her mind and with subtle observation. Every meeting, every gesture, and every call could hold a clue to what Victor was really up to. Later that afternoon, Maya noticed Victor meeting a man in the hotel's private lounge. The man wore a simple suit, but his movements were cautious and deliberate. They spoke quietly, exchanging words and gestures that seemed ordinary but contained hidden meaning. Maya observed from a distance, pretending to polish a nearby table. She watched as Victor handed the man a folded piece of paper, and the man quickly concealed it in his jacket. The action was subtle, but to Maya, it was significant. Her instincts told her that Victor was involved in activities that could be sensitive or dangerous. She had to gather more information before taking any further steps. As the man left the lounge, Victor followed shortly after, checking his phone and scanning the room for anyone watching. Maya noted each movement carefully, her mind working like a machine, analyzing behavior, predicting next steps, and recording every small detail. Back in the lobby, Victor interacted briefly with hotel staff, asking about room arrangements, reservations, and upcoming meetings. Maya noticed the precision in his instructions and the authority in his tone. He spoke politely but with clear control, expecting compliance without question. His confidence was impressive, but Maya saw the subtle hints of caution, how he avoided certain areas, how he kept his briefcase close, and how he scanned the lobby for potential interruptions. After Victor left the lobby to take a private meeting, Maya continued her cleaning, but she also followed him discreetly from a distance. She used her training to remain unnoticed while keeping him in view. Victor walked quickly to the hotel exit, his steps measured and purposeful. Maya observed every movement, noting how he checked his surroundings and made subtle hand gestures as if signaling someone outside. Once Victor disappeared from sight, Maya returned to her cleaning duties while thinking through the events of the day. She understood that her mission required patience, observation, and careful documentation. Every detail mattered, no matter how small it seemed. Her work as a janitor provided the perfect cover, allowing her to observe without suspicion. That evening, Maya returned to her apartment above the hotel garage. She locked the door and took a deep breath. From the outside, she seemed ordinary, a hard-working woman finishing her day. Inside, however, she reviewed every observation, every subtle gesture, and every unusual action she had witnessed. Victor Reynolds was not just a rich businessman. There was something more behind his confident demeanor, and Maya's instincts told her that uncovering it could be crucial. Maya prepared her tools for the next day: her camera, small tracking devices, and her notebook for mental notes. She planned to continue following Victor discreetly, gathering information without raising suspicion. She knew that one wrong move could reveal her true identity, so careful planning was essential. The next morning, the hotel lobby was filled with early guests again. The sunlight reflected off the marble floors, casting bright patterns across the room. Maya moved with her mop, watching Victor as he entered the hotel. He carried his briefcase, checked his phone constantly, and moved with the same confident stride as before. Maya noticed subtle changes in his behavior. Today, he seemed slightly more cautious. He paused near the reception desk longer than usual, scanned the lobby more carefully, and even avoided certain staff members he had interacted with previously. Maya's curiosity grew. His behavior suggested that he was either expecting something or hiding something important. Throughout the day, Maya observed Victor attending meetings, checking documents, and speaking quietly to individuals in private areas of the hotel. Each movement was precise and deliberate. Maya took mental notes, recording small details: the timing of his calls, the way he held his briefcase, the gestures he used when speaking to others. Everything could be significant, and Maya knew that collecting these details could reveal the truth behind Victor's activities. In the evening, Victor returned to the lobby briefly before leaving for a private destination. Maya followed at a safe distance, careful to maintain her cover as a janitor. She observed him entering a black car parked nearby, noting the license plate and the direction he traveled. Her training allowed her to track him without being noticed, and she recorded every detail mentally, preparing for the next step of her mission. Back in her apartment, Maya reviewed the day's observations. She realized that Victor's behavior was consistent with someone involved in sensitive activities, possibly affecting national security. She understood that her role was to gather information without being seen, using patience, observation, and intelligence to uncover the truth. Maya also reflected on the incident from the Lobby days ago, the slap from Victor that had started it all. What seemed like a small and disrespectful action had triggered her curiosity. If Victor had known who she really was, he might have behaved differently, but now she had the advantage. She could continue her observations unnoticed, gathering information while maintaining the appearance of an ordinary hotel janitor. As night fell, Maya prepared for the next day. She arranged her equipment, planned her route through the hotel, and reviewed her mental notes. Her mind was sharp, focused on the task ahead. Victor Reynolds might have believed he was in control, but Maya knew otherwise. Her skills, patience, and careful observation gave her the upper hand. The hotel lobby quieted down as guests retired to their rooms. The lights reflected softly on the polished floors, and the sound of distant music added a calm atmosphere. Yet beneath the calm surface, a hidden story was unfolding, a story that only Maya, the janitor who was more than she seemed, could see. Maya's determination grew stronger. She understood that the coming days would require careful observation, precise planning, and quick thinking. Victor Reynolds' actions suggested that he was involved in something important, and she was determined to uncover the truth without anyone noticing. By the time she went to bed, Maya had mapped out the next phase of her mission. She would continue to follow Victor discreetly, observe his movements, and gather critical information. Her cover as a janitor was perfect, allowing her to move freely while analyzing his behavior. Maya's calm eyes reflected focus and determination. She was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The story of Victor Reynolds and the secrets he carried was just beginning, and Maya was prepared to uncover every hidden detail. Quietly and effectively, the city slept beneath the night sky, unaware of the careful observations taking place in the grand hotel lobby. The world moved on, but Maya remained vigilant, ready to act when the time was right. Her patience, intelligence, and calm determination were her greatest tools, and she would use. The morning sun filled the Metropolitan Grand Hotel lobby with a soft, warm light. Guests arrived in suits and dresses, some carrying briefcases, others pulling rolling luggage. The bellboys moved quickly, and the sound of coffee brewing from the cafe mixed with the faint aroma of fresh flowers. Amid all this activity, Maya moved silently with her mop and bucket, making the floors shine while keeping her eyes on Victor Reynolds. Victor entered the lobby with his usual confidence, his polished shoes clicking on the marble floor. He held his briefcase firmly and checked his phone constantly. Today, he seemed more cautious than usual, glancing around more frequently and speaking quietly to the receptionist. Maya noticed every small detail, her trained eyes recording each subtle movement and expression. She knew Victor's behavior had changed slightly over the past few days. He seemed alert, as though he expected something important to happen. Maya's instincts told her that today might be the day she would get the answers she was looking for. She moved carefully among the guests, pretending to clean while following him with her eyes. Victor headed toward the elevators, but paused near a small seating area in the lobby. A man in a dark suit approached him. The man's movements were deliberate, and he carried a small folder tightly against his chest. They exchanged a few words, too quiet for most people to hear, but Maya could catch enough to notice that the conversation was serious. Victor handed over a piece of paper, which the man quickly folded and tucked into his jacket. The exchange seemed ordinary to the untrained eye, but Maya's mind analyzed it carefully. Every gesture, every glance, and every small movement could be significant. After the man left, Victor continued toward the elevators and disappeared from sight. Maya finished her cleaning in the area, ensuring she remained unnoticed. She knew that following him openly could be dangerous. Instead, she relied on her training to track his movements discreetly, taking mental notes that she would later review. Throughout the morning, Victor moved through the hotel in a precise pattern. He checked the conference rooms, spoke briefly to staff, and made phone calls that seemed coded. Maya watched him from a distance, pretending to adjust chairs and clean tables. Her cover as a janitor allowed her to observe without attracting attention. Later, Victor went to a private lounge in the hotel, a section rarely used by guests. Maya positioned herself nearby, cleaning quietly while keeping him in view. She observed as Victor spoke with several men, all dressed in simple but neat clothing. The conversation was low and careful. Victor handed documents to each man and received something in return. Maya could not see everything, but she noted every detail she could. The pattern of exchanges suggested that important information or items were being transferred. Maya knew that reporting this was important, but she also had to remain undercover. If Victor suspected that a janitor was watching him closely, it could put her mission at risk. She had to gather enough information to understand what was happening without revealing herself. Her calm demeanor and attention to detail were her greatest assets. By the afternoon, Victor had left the lounge and returned to his suite. Maya followed discreetly, pretending to clean nearby hallways. She noted the route he took, the security measures around him, and the people he interacted with. Every small detail could be a clue, and she was determined to collect them all. Later that day, Maya returned to the storage room in the hotel. She reviewed everything she had observed. Victor's behavior indicated that he was involved in activities that were not ordinary business dealings. The documents he exchanged, the cautious way he moved, and his interactions with certain individuals suggested that something important and possibly secretive was happening. Maya knew she had to plan carefully. Her next steps would require patience, precision, and subtlety. She prepared her tools, a small hidden camera, a tracking device, and her mental notes. Every detail she had recorded over the past days could help her understand Victor's actions and uncover the truth behind his activities. The next morning, Maya arrived early at the hotel. The lobby was quiet, with only a few guests checking in. The sunlight reflected on the marble floor, highlighting the spotless areas she had cleaned the day before. Victor entered the lobby, moving with his usual confident stride. He carried his briefcase and scanned the room, checking for any signs of disruption. Maya observed him carefully, noting how he avoided certain areas and checked his phone frequently. As Victor moved through the lobby, Maya noticed him making subtle hand signals to a nearby staff member. The interaction was brief but precise. It was clear that Victor had trusted individuals within the hotel who assisted him without drawing attention. Maya recorded the interaction mentally, analyzing the possible meanings of the signals. Later that morning, Victor entered a private conference room on the top floor of the hotel. Maya stayed on the same floor, cleaning a hallway nearby while keeping him in view. Through the slightly open door, she could see him speaking with several men. They exchanged documents and briefcase contents quickly and quietly. Maya's experience told her that these exchanges were sensitive and important. She took careful note of the timing, the sequence of actions, and the way Victor and the men handled the documents. Every detail could help build a bigger picture of his activities. Maya remained calm, pretending to adjust chairs and dust tables while her mind recorded each small movement. After the meeting, Victor left the hotel for a short period. Maya followed discreetly, using her training to maintain distance while keeping him in sight. He entered a sleek black car, and Maya observed the license plate and the direction he traveled. Her focus was complete, and she analyzed each movement for potential clues. That evening, back in her apartment, Maya reviewed the day's events. She realized that Victor's actions were not ordinary business dealings. There was a pattern, a method to his movements, and a careful attention to secrecy. Maya understood that her role as an observer was critical. She had to gather more information, maintain her cover, and ensure that nothing escaped her attention. She prepared for the following day, arranging her cleaning supplies, hidden camera, and mental notes. Maya knew that every observation brought her closer to understanding Victor's hidden activities. Her patience and attention to detail were essential to completing the mission successfully. The next day, Victor returned to the hotel for another series of meetings. Maya observed him from the lobby, noting the same careful movements and precise actions. He met with several individuals, exchanged documents, and made phone calls in a coded manner. Maya carefully recorded each detail, knowing that every interaction could be important. Throughout the day, she noticed small changes in Victor's behavior. He seemed slightly more alert, more cautious in his movements, and more careful in handling his briefcase. Maya's instincts told her that something significant was about to happen, and she prepared herself to respond if necessary. By evening, Victor had left the hotel again, moving toward an unknown destination. Maya followed discreetly, maintaining her cover and observing carefully. She noted the streets he traveled, the cars he interacted with, and the people he met. Each observation added to the larger picture of his activities and provided critical information for her mission. Back in her apartment, Maya analyzed all the details she had collected over the past days. Victor Reynolds was not an ordinary businessman. His movements, interactions, and careful handling of documents suggested involvement in activities that required secrecy and attention to detail. Maya understood that uncovering the truth was important, and that her role as a janitor allowed her to observe without suspicion. Maya prepared for the next phase of her mission. She would continue to follow Victor, gather more information, and ensure that every detail was recorded. Her training in careful observation would allow her to uncover the truth behind his actions, all while maintaining the appearance of an ordinary hotel janitor. As night fell, the hotel lobby quieted down. The lights reflected off the polished marble floor, and the city outside shimmered in the darkness. Maya sat quietly in her apartment, planning the next steps of her mission. Victor Reynolds might have believed he was in control, but Maya knew otherwise. Her sharp mind, patience, and careful observation gave her the advantage. The story of Victor Reynolds' hidden activities was unfolding slowly, and Maya was at the center of it. Her determination grew stronger with every observation, and she knew that the coming days would require careful attention, subtle analysis, and strategic thinking. Maya's calm eyes reflected focus and readiness. She understood that every small detail, every gesture, and every interaction could be critical. Her cover as a janitor allowed her to move freely, while her skills as a CIA agent ensured that she would gather the information needed to understand Victor Reynolds' secretive actions. The city slept beneath the night sky, but Maya remained alert, prepared for whatever the next day would bring. Her patience, intelligence, and determination were her greatest tools, and she was ready to uncover the truth behind Victor Reynolds' mysterious activities. The morning at the Metropolitan Grand Hotel began with the usual buzz. Guests arrived in neat suits and dresses. Bellboys carried luggage, and the faint aroma of fresh coffee and flowers filled the air. Maya moved quietly with her mop and bucket, cleaning the polished marble floors while keeping her eyes on Victor Reynolds. Every gesture, every glance, and every step he took was carefully observed. Victor entered the lobby with his confident stride, carrying his briefcase tightly in one hand and checking his phone constantly. His movements were deliberate, precise, and filled with purpose. Today, he seemed slightly more cautious than usual. He scanned the room multiple times, and Maya noticed a small hint of tension in his posture. Her instincts told her that today might be an important day in her mission. As Victor passed by the front desk, he greeted the staff politely, but there was a subtle firmness in his voice. He gave brief instructions and made small gestures, which Maya noticed and recorded in her mind. These gestures seemed like signals, though to everyone else they appeared ordinary. She understood that Victor was carefully controlling his surroundings, making sure no one interfered with his activities. Maya moved through the lobby, pretending to adjust chairs and polish tables while staying within observing distance of Victor. She saw him stop near the elevators and speak quietly with a hotel employee. The conversation was brief, but she noted the way Victor leaned slightly closer, the subtle hand gestures he used, and the careful way he checked his surroundings. Every action revealed something about his careful and secretive behavior. Later in the morning, the hotel prepared for a charity gala in the grand ballroom. The event was important, attended by city officials, business leaders, and other notable guests. Victor was among them, appearing confident and composed, while Maya performed her janitorial duties in the hallways nearby. Her eyes stayed on him as he moved through the hotel, interacting with staff and guests. She noted everything, the way he handled documents, the way he adjusted his suit, and the slight tension in his eyes when he spoke to certain individuals. As the gala began, Victor mingled with the guests, shaking hands, exchanging polite conversation, and offering smiles that seemed sincere but carefully measured. Maya stayed nearby, pretending to sweep and tidy the area. She could see the briefcase he carried at his side, and she noticed how often he glanced around, as if confirming that no one was paying too much attention to him. During the event, Victor moved toward a quiet hallway away from the crowd. Maya followed at a safe distance, pretending to check the walls and adjust decorative items. She saw Victor meet with a man in a simple suit. The man held a folder close to his chest, and Victor handed him a small envelope. The exchange was quick and subtle, almost invisible to anyone not paying close attention. Maya recorded every detail mentally, noting the timing, the gestures, and the careful way both men moved. After the meeting, Victor continued down the hallway and entered a private elevator. Maya waited for a few moments, then followed quietly, pretending to attend to cleaning duties on another floor. She moved carefully, keeping herself unnoticed while maintaining a clear line of sight. Her cover allowed her to observe freely, and her experience as an undercover agent ensured that no detail escaped her attention. In the evening, Victor returned to the main lobby. The gala had ended, and the guests were leaving. Maya cleaned near the grand staircase, keeping an eye on him as he spoke briefly to the hotel manager. She noticed subtle tension in his body language as he handed over documents and spoke quietly. It was clear that Victor's actions were purposeful and that he was protecting something important. Victor then moved toward the exit, his briefcase still in hand. Maya followed discreetly, pretending to adjust furniture in the lobby. She observed him as he checked the surrounding area, ensuring that no one was following or watching him too closely. Her training allowed her to remain unnoticed while she recorded every movement, every glance, and every interaction. Later, back in her apartment above the hotel garage, Maya reviewed the day's observations. Victor Reynolds' behavior was not ordinary. He was cautious, secretive, and deliberate in everything he did. The exchanges she had witnessed, the gestures, and the careful handling of documents suggested that he was involved in activities requiring confidentiality. Maya understood that she was gathering critical information that could reveal the truth behind his actions. Maya knew that her next move required careful planning. She had to find a way to observe Victor more closely without alerting him to her presence. If he discovered that the janitor he had slapped was watching him carefully, her mission could be compromised. She reviewed her tools, including a small hidden camera and tracking device, and planned her next day with precision. The following morning, the hotel lobby was busy with guests arriving for early meetings. Maya moved quietly with her mop and bucket, keeping a careful watch on Victor. He entered the hotel with his usual confident stride, carrying his briefcase and checking his phone. Today, he appeared even more alert and cautious, confirming Maya's suspicions that something significant was about to happen. Victor met briefly with several hotel staff. giving instructions and exchanging gestures that seemed ordinary to anyone else. Maya noticed the precision in his movements and the careful timing of his interactions. He seemed to have planned everything meticulously, from the way he walked through the lobby to the way he handled documents and signals. Maya's mind recorded each detail, preparing her for the next phase of observation. Later in the morning, Victor went to a private conference room on the top floor. Maya positioned herself nearby, pretending to clean while observing him through a slightly open door. She could see him speaking with several individuals, exchanging documents, and handling a briefcase with careful attention. Each movement and interaction was deliberate, and Maya analyzed them for clues. After the meeting, Victor returned to the lobby. Maya followed at a safe distance, pretending to adjust furniture and clean tables. She observed him as he spoke briefly with staff and checked his surroundings. His careful attention to security and his controlled behavior confirmed that his activities were important and required secrecy. That evening, as the gala ended and guests departed, Victor moved toward the hotel exit. Maya stayed in the lobby, pretending to finish her cleaning duties while keeping him in sight. She noted the way he moved toward a private car parked outside and the way he checked for observers. Her experience allowed her to track him without being noticed, recording each detail mentally for her report. Back in her apartment, Maya reviewed the events of the day. Victor Reynolds' actions were deliberate, precise, and full of careful planning. The exchanges she had observed, the signals, and the way he handled documents suggested that he was involved in secretive activities of great importance. Maya understood that her mission required patience, observation, and careful documentation. She prepared for the next day, arranging her supplies, hidden camera, and mental notes. Maya knew that uncovering the truth behind Victor's secret actions required careful planning and execution. Her cover as a janitor allowed her to move freely, while her skills as a CIA agent ensured that she would gather the necessary information without being noticed. As night fell, the hotel lobby quieted, and the city outside shimmered in the darkness. Maya sat quietly in her apartment, thinking through her observations. She knew that Victor Reynolds' actions were more significant than she had initially suspected. The careful attention he gave to documents, signals, and movements suggested that he was involved in activities that could have major consequences. Maya's determination grew stronger. She understood that her patience, intelligence, and careful observation would allow her to uncover the truth. Victor may have believed he was in control, but Maya knew that with careful planning and precise observation, she could reveal what he was hiding. Her calm eyes reflected focus and readiness. The hidden mission was moving forward, and every observation brought her closer to understanding Victor Reynolds' secret activities. Maya was prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that the information she gathered could be crucial. The city slept beneath the night sky, but Maya remained alert. She was ready to continue her mission, uncover the hidden truths, and act when the moment was right. Her patience, intelligence, and determination were her greatest strengths, and she would use them to reveal the secrets Victor Reynolds carried while keeping her true identity hidden. The story was reaching a critical point. Maya, the janitor who was far more than she seemed, was at the center of it. Her calm and careful approach ensured that she would continue to gather information, and the next steps of her mission promised to bring new discoveries and challenges. The next morning, the Metropolitan Grand Hotel was busy with early guests checking in, bellboys rushing to deliver luggage, and the soft hum of conversation filling the spacious lobby. Maya moved quietly with her mop and bucket, weaving through the crowd as she worked. Her eyes, however, were not just on the floor. They were on Victor Reynolds. Every step he took, every glance he gave, every movement of his briefcase was noted and recorded in her mind. Victor entered the lobby with his usual confident stride, carrying his briefcase firmly in one hand and checking his phone constantly. His movements were precise and deliberate, filled with purpose. Today, there was a subtle tension in his posture, as if he were expecting something unusual to happen. Maya recognized the signs immediately. Her instincts, honed by years of training, told her that this could be a pivotal moment in her mission. She moved through the lobby, pretending to adjust chairs and dust surfaces, all while keeping Victor in view. She noticed the way he paused near the reception desk, exchanging a few quiet words with the manager. His gestures were subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but to Maya, they were clear signals. Victor was cautious and careful, protecting something important, and Maya intended to find out exactly what that was. Later, Victor left the lobby, heading toward a private car parked just outside. Maya followed discreetly, maintaining her cover while observing him carefully. She noted the license plate of the vehicle, the driver, and the route they took. Each detail was important, and she recorded everything mentally. Preparing for the next phase of her mission, Victor drove to a warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Maya watched from a distance, taking note of every movement. Several men arrived shortly after Victor entered the building. They carried folders, briefcases, and small boxes, all handled with extreme care. The exchanges were quick, precise, and deliberate. Maya observed them closely, understanding that these interactions were highly sensitive and significant. She recorded each movement, each gesture, and each exchange mentally, piecing together the puzzle. Victor's careful planning, the precise timing of his actions, and the way he handled the documents suggested that he was involved in something far more serious than ordinary business dealings. Maya knew that gathering this information was crucial, but she also had to ensure that her identity remained hidden. After the meeting ended, Victor returned to his car and drove back to the hotel. Maya followed discreetly, remaining hidden and unnoticed. She understood that she now had enough information to report, but she needed to wait for the right moment to ensure that the situation would be handled safely and effectively. Her patience and careful observation were her greatest assets. Back in her apartment above the hotel garage, Maya reviewed her mental notes. She considered everything she had seen: the careful exchanges, the coded gestures, the cautious handling of documents. Everything pointed to the fact that Victor Reynolds was involved in activities that required secrecy and precision. Maya knew that exposing these activities could prevent potential threats, but it had to be done carefully to protect her cover. The following day, the hotel hosted a large gala event. City officials, business leaders, and other prominent guests attended. Victor was present, moving confidently among the crowd, shaking hands and exchanging polite conversation. Maya worked nearby, cleaning and adjusting decorations, all while keeping a close eye on him. During the gala, Victor stepped away from the main crowd and entered a quiet hallway. Maya followed at a safe distance, pretending to arrange furniture. She observed him meeting with a man in a dark suit, who carried a small folder tightly against his chest. Victor handed him an envelope, and the man quickly tucked it into his jacket. Maya recorded every detail mentally, noting the timing, gestures, and careful movements. After the brief meeting, Victor returned to the lobby. Maya stayed close, pretending to polish tables, while she continued her careful observations. His alertness and caution suggested that something significant was about to happen. Maya's instincts told her that today might be the moment to act. Later in the evening, Maya submitted her report to her CIA contact. She included every detail she had observed over the past days: the careful exchanges, coded gestures, precise handling of documents, and Victor's cautious behavior. Her analysis indicated that Victor's activities posed a potential risk and required immediate attention from authorities. She emphasized the importance of discretion and careful planning to ensure the situation was handled safely. Meanwhile, Victor believed that his activities remained hidden. He continued his confident demeanor, unaware that the janitor he had slapped in the lobby was the person who had observed everything. Victor had never suspected that Maya's calm and gentle appearance concealed a highly trained agent who had been following his every move. A few days later, Victor received an unexpected visit. Law enforcement officers and CIA agents arrived at his suite, presenting evidence of his activities. Victor's face turned pale as he realized the seriousness of the situation. The documents, transactions, and careful movements that he had tried to keep secret were now fully documented. Victor demanded an explanation. The lead agent calmly replied that the information had been gathered through careful observation and intelligence work. Victor looked around, confused, and asked who had observed him so closely. It was then that the truth was revealed. The humble janitor he had slapped in the hotel lobby was actually an undercover CIA agent. Maya had been following him, recording every detail, and reporting all of her observations to the proper authorities. Victor was shocked. He had underestimated the quiet, gentle janitor who had appeared so ordinary. Maya's calm demeanor, her dedication to her work, and her careful observation had allowed her to uncover his secret activities without ever revealing her identity. Maya, meanwhile, continued her work in the hotel lobby as usual. She smiled politely at guests, adjusted chairs, and polished tables, appearing as a hard-working janitor. No one suspected that she had played a critical role in exposing a potential threat. Her cover remained intact, and she continued her mission quietly. Knowing that her work had made a significant difference, Victor, humbled by the revelation, realized the importance of paying attention to the people around him. He had assumed that wealth and confidence were enough to control situations, but he had learned the value of careful observation, humility, and respect. Maya's actions had not only exposed his activities, but also demonstrated the strength of intelligence, patience, and determination. The hotel lobby returned to its usual rhythm. Guests moved through the space. Bellboys carried luggage, and the faint aroma of flowers and coffee filled the air. Maya continued her janitorial duties, maintaining her calm presence while quietly reflecting on the events that had unfolded. She understood that her mission had been successful, but she also knew that her work as a CIA agent required constant vigilance, careful observation, and patience. Victor Reynolds, now aware of the janitor's true identity, could no longer see the world in the same way. He had learned a valuable lesson about underestimating others and the power of quiet, careful observation. Maya, on the other hand, remained calm and composed, her mission completed without ever drawing attention to herself. In the days that followed, Maya continued her work at the hotel. To the guests and staff, she was simply a dedicated janitor, performing her duties with care and precision. Behind the scenes, however, she remained alert, observant, and ready to act whenever necessary. Her work had made a meaningful difference, preventing potential threats and exposing hidden activities, all while maintaining her cover. Victor's experience left a lasting impression. He realized that appearances could be deceiving, and that intelligence, patience, and careful observation were qualities to be respected. Maya's actions demonstrated that even someone who appeared ordinary could have extraordinary impact, and that true skill often lay in quiet dedication and careful planning. The city continued its daily rhythm. Unaware of the events that had unfolded within the walls of the Metropolitan Grand Hotel, Maya, the janitor who was more than she seemed, remained vigilant, ready for the next mission, and confident in her ability to observe, analyze, and act when necessary. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the hotel lobby, Maya finished her duties for the day. She looked around, ensuring that everything was in order. Her mind reflected on the events, the careful observation, and the successful completion of her mission. She understood the importance of her role and the value of patience, intelligence, and determination. Victor Reynolds left the hotel that evening, humbled and thoughtful. He had learned a powerful lesson about the quiet strength of someone who had appeared ordinary but possessed extraordinary skills. Maya had not only observed him but had also shaped the outcome of the situation through her careful work and calm determination. Maya returned to her small apartment above the hotel garage. Reflecting on the events of the past days, she understood that her mission was complete, but her vigilance would always remain. She was ready for whatever challenges the future might bring, confident in her ability to observe, analyze, and act with precision and intelligence. The Metropolitan Grand Hotel continued its daily rhythm. With guests coming and going, bellboys moving luggage,